Brilliant. Well, we're really excited this morning because we've got a guest speaker from Hope Church, Worcester, Jim, and he's set up something called Encounter, which is a camp which a group from East End Church go to each year. They've been going for 3 years and had some amazing times there. And I know from what he's told me, Jim's got a real heart for seeing discipleship and disciples making disciples, so I'm excited for what Jim has to share. So can we give Jim a big, warm welcome?
I'm going to try holding it. I mean, you've got to tell me more about the sauna. I can't move on. I mean, like, we're wearing trunks, right? Yeah. Okay. I was panicking a little bit. Well, great, really great to be with you. I've sort of forgot I was talking because I feel so relaxed and at home. So you're such a great bunch of people to be amongst. Atmosphere is so full of the presence of God and the goodness of God and celebration. So thanks for having us. Apart from, these two are kicking off a little bit because we don't do bacon sandwiches before baptisms. So we do good. So this is the Worcester team, all right. So Leanne I met, I don't know how many years ago, 10 years ago or something like that, and she became my little sister, adopted little sister. That's Leanne. And then there's Jamie. He's from Manchester, but he's okay. But probably like a car. And there's Jay or James at the end there. So there's the team. They were the best I could find. Just let's get to know each other a bit, shall we? Can we do that? Can you give me a wave if you've been a Christian for over 20 years? Oh, oldies, right? If you've been a Christian for under 5 years, give me a wave. Hey, that's beautiful. What about under a year? Anybody? Hey, under a year. What are you going to be praying like when you're over that? I don't know. But anybody like, I'm not sure I am a Christian yet. Anybody in that category? Give me a little wave. Anybody? You would be really welcome if you are in that category, because we want to welcome you and welcome you to all that God's got in store for you in this place, in this church. And there's a moment in the book of John. We won't read it, but there's a moment in the book of John where we get to eavesdrop on Jesus' prayer. And there's this time that, in John 17, and Jesus prays this magnificent prayer. And like, this is a moment where God is praying. Do you know what I mean? And we get to have a look at it. We get to see what, so what God prays for is probably quite important. Right? Yeah, come on, participate. And there's a moment where he said, Father, as you send me, I'm sending them. And I could drop the mic now, because that's what we're talking about today. As God sent Jesus, then he's sending you. Do you know what I mean? And that was his prayer. That was what it was all about. And so let's get to know each other a little bit more. I'm going to pick on somebody. My friend, what are you up to tomorrow? Work? What's work? No, I mean, what's work as in, like, generally, but what's your work? Yeah. Marketing. Great. So the point is, Jesus has sent you there. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of good to sit in that for a minute. Where, are you in an office? Are you on your own? He sent you there. He sent you there to be a light to people around you. Anybody else? I can't ignore our welcomer with the hat. Yeah, looking behind you. Yeah. I mean, you've got the hat, right? That's a hat. What's tomorrow for you?
I'm going to the library.
Going to where? To the library. You're working there? You're there to study? What?
I've got a boring paper to
Nice, so you're going to sit in the library and work. Jesus sent you there. Do you know what I mean? Wherever you find yourself. Who tomorrow is going to be at a school gate dropping kids off? Jesus sent you there. Do you know what I mean? I just think sometimes we've got the simple things that are worth sitting in for a while, aren't they? Jesus sent you to that place. Wherever you find yourself, he sent you there. And there's in the New Testament, we see a number of situations in Jesus' ministry when he sent people out and he gave them some instructions. So we're going to look at one of those this morning, where he sent people with these instructions. Simple stuff, really. And if we looked at Matthew 10, verse 5 to 16, and we're going to look at this chapter, but there's other moments where Luke and John record Jesus sending out 12, Jesus sending out 72. So we're sort of drawing on a number of these other references as well for our talk today. But Matthew 10, verse 5. We're waiting for it to appear on the thing. Because the person doing the laptop loves the attention being drawn on them at this moment in time. So we appreciate you. I'll read it, but don't worry if you don't get there. Honestly, it's fine. These 12 Jesus sent out with the following instructions. Do not go among the Gentiles or enter any town of the Samaritans. Go rather to the lost sheep of Israel. That was specific for then, not so much now. As you go, proclaim this message. The kingdom of heaven has come near. Heal the sick, raise the dead, cleanse those who have leprosy, drive out demons. Freely you have received, freely give. I mean, it's elementary stuff, right? For those of you who've been Christians for 20 plus years, you're doing all of this stuff all the time. Do not get any gold or silver or copper to take with you in your belts. No bag for the journey, or extra shirt, or sandals, or a staff, for the worker is worth his keep. Whatever town or village you enter, search there for some worthy person and stay at their house until you leave. As you enter the home, give it your greeting. If the home is deserving, let your peace rest on it. If it is not, let your peace return to you. If anyone will not welcome you or listen to your words, leave that home or town and shake the dust off your feet. Truly I tell you, it will be more bearable for Sodom and Gomorrah on that day of judgment than for that town. I am sending you out like sheep among wolves. Therefore be shrewd as snakes and as innocent as doves. It's a great little bit of Bible, isn't it? You know, the elementary stuff, we're not going to dwell on this too much. There's a few things I want us to kind of dwell on and think about for a minute. The elementary stuff, as you go, proclaim this message, the kingdom of heaven is near. So the kingdom is right, it's at hand. Another time Jesus says, yeah, it's right, you can touch it, you can feel it, you can grasp it, it's here, it's amongst us. The kingdom of heaven has come and is coming, is at hand. And then he says, heal the sick, raise the dead, cleanse those who have leprosy, drive out demons, freely you have received, and freely give. I don't know who cast out a demon on the way to church this morning. Anybody? It's kind of. This is saying it's elementary stuff. These are the disciples with our plates on, right? They were early. It was early doors in the life of the disciples that Jesus was training, and he sent them out. Go and heal the sick. Go and cleanse those with leprosy. Go and raise the dead. I don't know about you. I read this and I think, oh man alive, I've got a few things to learn. I've got all sorts of stuff to learn. But this is the stuff that Jesus called you and me to. We've established, haven't we? There isn't anyone in the room, unless we're too shy to, that there isn't anyone. No one put their hand up and said anyone not a believer, right? So you're all in the gang, right? You're all in on this, and this is the elementary stuff that Jesus called you and me to. And I don't know about you, but I want you to sit in that challenge for a few moments. Do you know what I mean? That Jesus is calling us to do this stuff. And it is not easy. Dan mentioned earlier on that I run a camp in the summer called Encounter Camp. And we've been going 20 years now. This year will be our 20th anniversary of running the Encounter Camp. And we've seen God do all sorts of things, not just at the camp, but at the camp. When we were in a worship time, like we were this morning, and we were worshipping God, and I felt God speak to me, and I felt God say, gather people, and I'll show you what I can do. And that was a good word, I felt. And so I gathered some people in a field in Worcestershire. I found the most dodgy people I could find, and I gathered them. I said, okay, God, show me what you can do. And for 20 years, we've been gathering dodgy people in a field in Worcestershire and saying, okay, God, show us. And I've got to tell you, we've seen God do some remarkable things. You know, there is a lady that comes to the camp every year that the first year she came to the camp, she was HIV positive, and now she isn't. Because she was prayed for at the camp and she got healed. We've seen a cancer healed completely. There was one year at the camp, somebody had a word of knowledge about backs. God wants to heal backs. I mean, a word of knowledge for God healing backs is a safe one, right? Because in a room, there's going to be a few bad backs in the room. So if you're going to do a word of knowledge, that's a real safe one to start with. But what we did with those is somebody came forward and said, "Yeah, I broke my back last year." And I thought, "Oh, flipping it. You know, can we just have a spray? You know, can we have so he hobbled his way and we prayed for him. And then somebody else came and said, yeah, no, get him to pray for you, because last year he prayed for my back that was broken, and when I went for the x-rays, they couldn't find the break anymore. And so we, that sort of, rise up with your faith, don't you? Oh, right, because he could have told me that last year. Do you know what I mean? It would have been nice to hear. But we've seen God do all sorts of stuff along those lines at the camp, and this is the stuff that we were born into. This is the stuff that we were born for, and it's so easy to get distracted into all sorts of other things. Do you know what I mean? And we get pulled into all sorts of stuff that isn't the main thing. So I want to encourage us. You are sent. So when we were, you come to a room like this, it's a bit nerve-wracking as a visiting speaker. I was feeling a bit nervous in my chair. How am I going to speak to these, I don't know, they're Londoners, they're from the big city, all of that, and we're from little Worcester, and all of that little feelings I was feeling. Then I felt God said, no, I sent you. I sent you. And I felt that kind of, oh yeah, God sent me. Right? And the same for you, when you get up and go to work or to the school gate or whatever it is you do tomorrow, He sent you there. I want you to know that there's a power that He's got with you. When He sent out the disciples, before He ascended into glory, He said, all authority in heaven and earth has been given to me, therefore go. Make disciples, baptize them in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, teach them to obey everything I command you, and surely I am with you. Come on, participation. Come on, friends. I am with you to the very end of the age. So that's when God says He's sending you. He's not sending you as in like on your bike. Off you go. See you later. He's saying, I'm sending you. I'm going with you. You know what I mean? So when you're at the school gate tomorrow, or when you're at work, or in the office, or on the building site, wherever you find yourself, He sent you there, and He's going there with you. So I want you to feel that sense of standing up. Okay, no, something's going to kick off here. Something's going to go on because God sent it. When we started the camp and God had given us this word, gather people, I'll show you what I can do. Like we came that first year, there was about 50 of us in the field. We didn't know what to do, how to do any of it. But there was a standing up moment. There was a God sent us. God told us to do this, so we're going to do it. I've got a few points. For those of you that are waiting for dinner, that's 4 points. Right. So when I'm on my fourth one, it's close. So just some observations about the instructions that Jesus gave them. So the first observation I've already given, so that was like my 0.0 point, is to do this stuff. But then there's some observations I wanted to draw on. He said, don't greet anyone on the way. He said, it's a funny thing to say, isn't it? So I mean, if you met someone on a mate, you walk into church today, who walks to church today? Right? And you saw a friend, I mean, you'd want to say hello, wouldn't you? Jesus is sending them, he's saying, don't greet anyone on the way. So what the dickens did he say there? Any thoughts? You're used to participation as a church, sure. Sorry? Don't get distracted. Do you know what I mean? I can't think of any other reason why Jesus would say don't greet anyone on the way. It must be that we are prone to being distracted and knocked off course, taken away from the main point of why he sent us. Do you know what I mean? So just remind yourself, the main point is he sent you so that you can make disciples. He sent you so that you can shine your light to other people and they can see the light. Freely you've received the goodness of God. Freely he sent you to freely give that away. Right? We get taken up with all kinds of other stuff, don't we? Even in church life. So I mean, Jesus said there was a moment when Peter had confessed that Jesus was the Christ. Do you know what I mean? He said, they'd say, who do people say the Son of Man is? Some say Elijah, some say, Moses. And then he said, but what about you? Who do you say? He said, you're the Christ. And then Jesus looked at him and said, you're Peter. Upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell will not prevail. Right? So Jesus said he will build his church. We've already heard in Matthew 28 where he said, go and make disciples. Now here's what we do in church life quite often, is we try and build his church for him, hoping that he'll send us some disciples. Don't we? It's the wrong way around, isn't it? Let him build his church. Do you know what I mean? How many tedious leaders meetings have I been to? Sorry, leaders. I'm sure your meetings aren't tedious and they're fabulous. Where we spend time talking about like how we should put the chairs out, or the PA, or they're all important things. Do you know what I mean? But the truth is, Jesus is building this church. Jesus is building it. Not only is he building it, but the gates of hell can't resist it, can't stand against it. And gates, by the way, gates are defence, aren't they? And therefore, he's building his church that will take it to the enemy. He's building his church in such a way that the gates of hell can't resist. So we plunder the enemy's territory. Sometimes we feel like, well, we'll hang tight and hope that we can put some gates up and the enemy won't overwhelm us. It's the other way around. The enemy is saying, no, you guys, he's building his church and we're terrified of him. Do you know what I mean? So we get that the wrong way around sometimes, don't we? We think, if we spend our time getting church right, then Jesus will send us more people as disciples. Our job is to go and make disciples. So crack on, right? And don't get distracted, because there's so much to get distracted. There's, so many things can distract you from the main thing that you are called to. If you are a breathing, born-again Christian, the main point of your existence is to worship God and to show other people what he's like. That's what you're here for. Do you know what I mean? And you can get pulled and sidetracked into all sorts of other stuff, but that is the main point, isn't it? So I want to encourage you, when you wake up in the morning, think, right, okay, Jesus, you're sending me. Wherever I'm going today, you're sending me there, and I'm not going to get distracted. So feel free to say hi to someone on the way. Do you know what I mean? There was a specific instruction to those guys at that point, but the encouragement is don't get distracted. Don't get pulled into all sorts of other stuff that are not the main thing. The main thing is to keep the main thing. Thank you, one of you. The main thing is to keep the main thing. The main thing. So that's my first point, really. Don't get distracted. And then he says another thing, don't take any money. Right, you're going on a trip, don't take any money with you. It's another odd thing to say, isn't it? Do you remember in the school trips, when you're allowed to have some pocket money? You're allowed this amount of pocket money, you can spend it you're not allowed any pocket money. You're not allowed to take any money with you. Why? Trusting God. I did a lot of my learning about ministry in Uganda, in Africa. I went there as a young man. I was about 21. And I got on a plane and got off this plane. And I'm like, it was a whole other experience for me. I'd never really been out of my town. And then I'm on a plane, I'm on my way to Africa. And first thing I noticed was, A, it's hot. And secondly, it's like on the telly. It's like Africa is on the telly. Anyway, found myself in this country and lived with a guy that was planted. He just planted a church, and basically the church was in this cow shed where they had to clean the cows out in the morning, and then they have church on Sundays in a slum part of the town, the city. It was right on the outside of Kampala, the capital. And after a while, we went to other places to preach the gospel and plant other more churches. Incidentally, that ministry now has planted about 170 churches. This is something 30 years on. So anyway, it was a cowshed. But Emmanuel, the guy running those churches, would send us to other places. I'd like you to go and speak in this church. And we didn't have any money. I didn't come with any money. I didn't know anything about anything at the time. And he would say, right, I'm not giving you any money. I'll give you the fare to get there on the taxi, but not to get back. So I'm not to take that kind of stuff personally. You know what I mean? But actually, he was teaching me. And the rules are, you're not allowed to ask anybody for money. This is not just preacher exaggeration. This is what happened. This is what he did to me, Emmanuel. And I can tell you what, we always had dinner and we always got home. God is faithful. And there's something for us to learn, to step into, beyond the natural, beyond what we can do, into the supernatural. And I believe Jesus didn't tell them not to take any money because they were to step into the supernatural. They were to step into situations where if God is not for them, if God is not with them, they are sunk. So I want to encourage you, put yourself in situations. This is the little take home. If you discuss these things in small groups or anything like that, take this one home, write this one down in the books. I don't see anybody taking notes. Anyway, right? What was I going to say? I got distracted by the lack of note takers. Put yourself in a situation this week where if God is not real, I will look like a right idiot, or it won't work. Have a go at doing some stuff that you can't do. I'll say it again for the note takers. Have a go at doing some stuff that you can't do. Feel free for 2-3 people to applaud if you want, because it was a great point. I'm not playing. Have a go at doing some stuff that you cannot do. Think about that for a minute. Why did Jesus say, wait? Remember, he lived with them, showed them, he sent them out, done all the stuff, and they said, I'm off. He used a few more words than that. He said, but wait for the Harper to come. Because he knew if they started this ministry, the point was he'd invested in those 12 to start his global international church, of which we're part. But he knew that if they start doing that without the supernatural presence of God, they will do what they can do. And he was calling them to do what they can't do. Peter and John got this. Peter and John, there was a moment, early doors in the book of Acts, there was a moment they were walking to the temple and there was a guy begging outside the temple and he looked at it and said, look at us. And the guy, the beggar gave them their attention. I don't know if you've ever done that. Someone begging, let's actually connect. There's a moment. I've sat a little while ago, sat doing a Bible study with someone begging. And it's interesting to see how many people don't look at you and give attention. We're doing a Bible study on blessed are the poor in spirit. And we were sat on the pavement, I'm doing this little Bible study while he's still trying to earn a few quid. And it's amazing. But there's this moment for Peter and John when he got their attention, he said, look at us. He said, silver and gold I do not have. But what I have, I'm going to give to you. stand up and walk.